Welcome to the Published and Paid podcast, where we share book, business, leadership, and life lessons in 20 minutes or less to help you build a thought leadership brand and business. My name is Jasmine Womack. I'm a former middle school language arts teacher turned seven-figure entrepreneur, and I am glad that you are here. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of the Published and Paid podcast, where we discuss all things publishing your intellectual property through books, courses, and coaching programs, and getting paid for it, as well as leadership development, business, and life lessons. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about top book marketing mistakes that are costing you money. Now, let's just clear the air, okay? You do not have to be a book marketing expert to effectively execute a book marketing campaign, okay? Many leaders and experts make the mistake of confusing marketing their book with simply posting about their book. And what I mean by this is that posting a Canva image on your social media profile is not marketing. Letting people know that you have a book and putting up a link is not marketing your book. It's not the same, okay? It's just simply not the same. Doing these things consistently and confusing these actions with marketing is a great way to end up as a broke thought leader. Now, you may have felt confident about writing a book, but then when it comes to marketing the book, it's, everything is downhill from there. All of your ideas and everything fell flat. But my goal for you here in today's episode is to give you practical tips, tools, and strategies so that you can feel confident about marketing your book and so that you can move forward to do it strategically. So one of the first things that you're going to need when it comes to marketing your book is what I call the 5 C's. Because a successful book marketing campaign involves strategy, time, content, and visibility. And the 5 C's are calendaring, content, community, communication, and commitment. Calendaring is that you need to have a specific time period where you are consistently and effectively promoting your book. You need to know the day that you're going to start promoting your book. You're going to need to know the day that you're actually going to release your book, because your book release day is part of your overall launch. And then you also need a post-launch plan for how you're going to continue to build the momentum and maintain the momentum promoting your book after its release for a particular period of time. So you're going to need calendaring. You're going to need to schedule this thing out. You also need content. You need to know your book in and out, and you need information to post so that you can connect to your audience and pull them in. You need community. This is your audience. You need to be clear on who your audience is. You need to understand their challenges, their needs, and you need to connect them through consistently delivering a central, unified message that helps them to solve a challenge that they have. You need communication. You've got to communicate. This means that you've got to talk about your book and you've got to be willing to be visible. And of course, you need commitment, because marketing is not a one-time thing. It's not a post. It's a process, and it does not end at the end of your book release day. Now, when you have these 5 elements, calendaring, content, community, communication, and commitment, you will increase your book sales, you'll increase your credibility, you will decrease your anxiety and feelings of stress around this, and it's going to help you to build a body of work, okay? So some of the key mistakes that experts and leaders make when it comes to marketing, because you may not have a marketing background like I didn't have, is not having a defined marketing plan. This is going to take some thought and some strategy. So it's a little bit different than, what you might do for work, right? This is where you're going to have to sit down and think about something for your business. It's a plan for your business how you want to execute. And if you're not used to making decisions, you're going to have to get very used to making them now. And not only making the decisions, but executing on the decisions that you make. So I understand that writing a book for many experts might be your first real introduction into creating a marketing strategy, or into like really, really digging deep into sales for a physical product, because a book is a physical product. So this means that you need a start date and you need an end date. You need a pre-launch period. Your pre-launch period is that time period before your book is actually released and shipped out. That's your book release date, the date that it's shipped out, the date that the platform ships them out, the date that you package them up and you might have a book release party. That's your book release date. Anytime before that book release date is called your pre-launch period. This is where you should be going all in on creating content. This is where you should be going all in on doing podcast interviews and letting people know about the book that you have coming up. Okay. But a mistake that many people have is that they think that their release date is the day they should start marketing. And no, you really should start marketing 4 to 8 weeks before your release date. So this is going to take some thinking. This is going to take some strategy, because you've got to think about what you're going to talk about, how you're going to post, where you're going to post, where you're going to interview people. Where do you want to be interviewed? You've got to build up the momentum, because if you want to rank for any of the bestsellers titles, those ranks are achieved during the pre-sale period, not on the actual release date. Okay. You have your pre-launch, you have your actual launch date, and then you have your post-launch. Your post-launch is the time after your book release day. And so for your post-launch, you should be planning to promote your book for 6 to 12 months after the release date. This means that you've got the momentum. Now you're creating a body of work. Now you're keeping your book in front of people's faces. Now you're letting people know that it wasn't just a one-time thing, a one-time passion project from an indie author, that you are here to stay, that you have something substantial to teach. And because it's so important, you are taking the time with actually committing an extended period of time to spreading that message and telling others about the product. One marketing mistake that many indie authors make is that they write a book, they promote it for a few weeks, and then once that's done, they're on to the next, instead of leveraging that book and continuing the momentum and for months and months, up to a year after the book is out. So after your book is officially released, you should be focusing on going on a podcast tour where you are featured on podcasts on a consistent basis, talking about your message and selling your book. Okay. Now, when it comes to marketing your book, you have to remember that your book should be directed towards a target audience who has a specific need. So you have to really focus in on your target audience, learning the language that they use, understanding what their needs are, and understanding and learning through doing how to communicate how your book is a solution to the problem that they have. Okay. If you are underutilizing social media, you should definitely embrace it. Now, there is no reason for you to fear social media or be overwhelmed by it. A lot of times people will get overwhelmed because they're trying to do too much too soon. You're trying to be on all the platforms, and really, you should just be focused on maximizing one platform consistently and mastering that platform, because every platform has its own culture. Every platform has its own language. Every platform differs in a way. So like TikTok, you have certain types of people who like to look at TikTok. They have long form video now, but a lot of people look at TikTok because, they have their short form videos where they're giving information. And then sometimes people just tune in for the longer form videos, which may or may not, really provide some type of training. Then you have Instagram. Instagram, in my opinion, like now, At the time of this recording, they're moving to video, but Instagram started out as a photo sharing app where everybody was sharing really, really dope photos. And then in the past 4 years, they've added the store, they've added live streaming, they've added carousels, they've added stories, they've added so many different things. I believe in just trying to figure out what their thing was going to be. And now they're saying, okay, this is going to be a short form video platform. So that's what Instagram is for now. That and shopping. And of course, you've got Facebook and you have YouTube. YouTube is more for long form. Facebook is for long form, and LinkedIn focuses on the professional community. Each one of them have their own rules. They have like their own culture. They have their own audiences that like to, ingest content there. So instead of trying to be visible on all the platforms, choose one to master and be visible there consistently. Another marketing mistake that many experts make when it comes to marketing their book is overlooking email marketing, because you might not have an email list, but you should be actively building an email list through leveraging chapters in your book to create a lead magnet and using that lead magnet to build a list of interested buyers. All right. I also see too many experts compromising on their book presentation. Your cover design needs to be crisp, needs to be clear, needs to have 2 fonts, a primary font and a sub font, not 5 and 6 different fonts. Your book cover should have 2 to 3 colors, a main color. Okay, you have a what I call, it probably isn't the correct term for it, but a sub color, and then you have your accent color. The covers that look like they were done on Fiverr and they're very cartoonish, you want to stay away from those when you are writing a thought leadership book. And of course, you have your interior formatting and editing. Editing is probably, outside the cover design, editing is the most important, because what you don't want to do is put a book out that's riddled with errors. So even if you feel like you are a strong writer, you are not the person who needs to edit your book. You always need to hire a professional editor. And not actively seeking reviews is a marketing mistake. Now, you can actually tie in reviews or getting reviews in with your book launch strategy, where you have an advanced readers list or a book launch team who agree as a part of being on your launch team that they're also going to read your book and provide reviews on platforms for you. Okay. Marketing does not have to be overwhelming, but it does require some learning. It requires some upskilling, and it requires some thought. I do not recommend that you hire a marketing agency to take over your marketing if you do not have a basic understanding. Because you got to understand that even with a marketing agency, there's information that they are going to need to learn from you. They're going to depend on you to give it to them. And there are people out here agencies out here that will take your money and just kind of like not do their jobs because you don't know what you're doing. And so I would definitely advise you to up level your marketing skills prior to going to hire anyone else to market for you. Now, does this mean that you can't work with someone who creates marketing strategy? No, I'm not saying that. But if you do hire a consultant to help you create a marketing strategy, you have to be prepared to answer about 50 questions so that they can do what you need them to do effectively. You've got to help them help you. But if you don't understand how to answer basic questions about you, your brand, and your efforts, then nothing that they do is going to be effective, regardless of how experienced they are or how much money you pay them. So there are some marketing foundationals that you're going to need to learn how to communicate if you effectively want to delegate or hire someone or a company to help you with this. But you can do it. It just takes some time. It takes some commitment and some dedication. All right. So definitely let me know what you've learned from this episode. And remember to share this out with a friend. subscribe, leave a review. Okay, we need to up our reviews. Leave a review and follow me on Instagram at the Jasmine Womack, YouTube the Jasmine Womack, and LinkedIn.com/n/the Jasmine Womack. Now, if you're ready to embrace marketing and install a promotional engine in your business that is strategic and that is easy step by step for you to follow, then I invite you to join me at Published and Paid Live, where you will receive in-person coaching to transform your $1 million message into a best-selling book and high-ticket coaching program. Visit www.publishedandpaidlive.com and get all of the details. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us in at hello@jasminewomack.com. And in our next episode, I'll be sharing details about how I reclaimed my health journey and the impact that has had on my life, family, and business. Until next time, peace, love, and impact. See you soon.